Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about, I just go to the rich neighborhoods. Woman debates doing Instacart or Doordash. What is the safest side hustle for women? You may be surprised. So in the gig economy, there are a bunch of different gig apps out there, some of which are really good for just anybody, and I think some would define as a man's gig, even though I think that kind of stuff is nonsense. But this young lady is questioning whether or not she should do Instacart or Doordash, or if there is a better side hustle for women. So with that said, we are talking about everything that is being said in this article, how it actually is for DoorDash, UberEats, and Grubhub drivers and customers, and everything in between. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. So with that said, let's get started. TikToker Cassidy at Allthings.cassidy took to the platform to present her followers with a dilemma. I'm going to leave our TikTok as well as her profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject.
What is the safest side hustle for girlies? I have some debt I want to pay off, and my boyfriend suggested that we do DoorDash or Instacart together, which is just the sweetest thing ever.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If your goal is to make extra money together, then that's not going to actually make you more money. Because let's say he's already doing DoorDash or Instacart, right? Now you're just doing DoorDash or Instacart with a partner as opposed to doing it by yourself. That's not changing the number of income or the amount of income you're currently making. Maybe it'll get you a little faster throughout the day, but not really.
But he said I shouldn't do it alone because it's not safe, and I totally agree. So I want to know, what are the side hustles that the girlies are doing to make some money, some extra cash? My goal is to be financially free from all of this debt by the time I turn 30. It's in August. So let me know. I literally have so much free time.
Now, there are a lot of ladies out there that believe it's unsafe for gig workers, and really it's more gig workers that are female to be doing certain gigs, especially when you deliver to Emily and Chad comes to the door, 6 feet tall, or there's a bunch of dudes that are inside. Honestly, if you're afraid of stuff like that, you probably shouldn't be in the gig economy. But again, this also goes back to the major point, which is location. Doing gig work in a rough neighborhood and doing gig work in a nicer neighborhood or a middle-class neighborhood are all going to yield different results. Some people are going to tip because they're holding on to their nickels as tightly as they can. Some places have really big houses with no tips for drivers, because why would they? And finally, there are those who are in the middle class that really worked for what they have, and they understand the hustle that it takes to get out of the funk that they were in. So they also tip. That's kind of the goal with this. Either way, it is really about location more so the gig itself. Because really, this is a solid side hustle for ladies. I know plenty of ladies doing really well for Instacart and DoorDash. The viral video has 3.2 million views, sparking conversation in the comments. Many viewers shared their own experiences and suggestions for side hustles that believed were safe for women. The things you do for content, huh? One commenter recommended Upwork. They called it an easy way to get part-time remote work with many gigs lasting just 1 to 3 months. I also think Upwork's a great way if you're looking for remote work or you're trying to figure out what exactly you want to do as a remote worker. Like maybe you want to be maybe you just prefer a stay-at-home life and you just prefer that lifestyle. That's fine. I'm personally not about that. I need to get up and go every now and then, but I know a lot of people that do well on Upwork. Another suggested becoming a home-based travel agent, which allows for travel perks and discounts. I love it and get insane perks for my own travel. Took a course and earned a free cruise, which I leave for in 8 days, she shared. I never thought that was still a thing. I know that travel agencies aren't that big a thing anymore, unless it's like, you know, you're working for a rich person and they don't even have the time to go on Expedia and go through all the prices, etc. Because most of the time, time, for the everyday person, they could do better on these websites than they would do in anything else. But that's just me. Another added, I worked a 9-to-5 corporate job, then worked from 6 to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday, and one 10-hour weekend shift at Domino's as a driver, and paid off $50,000 in debt in 1 year. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Becoming a Domino's driver and becoming a Doordash and Instacart shopper are basically the same thing, except one has different tax benefits than the other. If your goal was to take her away from the delivery space and into something else entirely, that's just gonna yield the same result. Granted, you're right, that is a great way to pay off debt, but no. The rise of side hustles in the US. According to Forbes, side hustles have become a popular solution in today's economy. A study conducted by OnePoll found that 40% of Americans have a side hustle, with 48% of them taking one on solely to make ends meet. As expenses continue to rise, many people are turning to side hustles to lessen their reliance on a single income. Many viewers were grateful for the helpful suggestions, with one asking, please compile these comments into one video. You know, maybe I should just start to develop a ongoing list for my website. Just side hustles you could do outside of normal gig work, because I think that this would be very interesting. We're already developing courses on how to build your own dispatch company through the Driven Wyld Discord server, and I think this would be a great addition to that. The Driven Wyld Discord community is exclusive for gig workers looking to expand their knowledge and expertise in their self-employment and entrepreneurial journeys. I partnered with high-level professionals to bring you some of the most exclusive benefits based on your personal needs as a gig worker. Exclusive professional opportunities and gig postings. More live streams with high-level professionals in our industry. Educational systems designed to help you build your own dispatch company, as well as other scalable opportunities. Driven Wyld is also kicking off their dispatching for beginners course in the very near future, and we are changing the game and transforming how businesses serve customers and how gig workers get opportunities. So whether you're a gig worker looking for more opportunities to earn, or an exit strategy because the gig economy is an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal, not the goal, there is something here for you. Check the link in the description and get started making the most amount of money in the least amount of time and in the safest possible way. We are excited to help you secure your financial future. Cassidy's top 10 side hustles. Cassidy did that in a follow-up video. In it, she reviews the top side hustles that were mentioned the most frequently in the 5,000 plus comments on her original video. She shares that pet sitting and dog walking were among the most popular suggestions. Many people were using apps like Rover and Wag, while others found clients through Facebook or word of mouth. Hey, you know what? That's a solid gig in itself. Like, realistically speaking, that is a great gig. I know that Hannibal is Hungry actually did that for a long time. I know EV Dash actually still does it. It's a solid gig, and it's one of those gigs that you could do on top of other gigs if you work it carefully. Just be careful if you're gonna do that with delivery driving or something else, because you don't want complaints coming out of that later. Delivery driving, particularly through Amazon Flex, Instacart, DoorDash, and Walmart Spark, was another common suggestion. However, Cassidy expresses some concerns about the safety of this hustle. While I don't know if I agree that is the safest side hustle, as long as you know the areas you're in and someone has your location, it seems like an easy side hustle. Well, first off, if you do share your location with somebody else, you got to make sure that it is somebody that you trust will actually contact somebody in the event that they don't hear from you. And again, this goes right back to the point of location. You could DoorDash in a great area, make great tips, and be very safe. And you could DoorDash in a very sketchy area, barely anything, and wonder if you're going to get shanked by the guy you're delivering to. Instacart, same thing. Amazon Flex, same thing. Walmart Spark, same thing. They all do the same general thing. Cassidy also highlights digital marketing and reselling as good options. She mentions that selling items on platforms like TikTok Shop is a simple way to get started. Yeah, I really got to get my TikTok up and running, and I got to get my merch store up and running, but I do believe that digital marketing is a solid opportunity. Serving and bartending. Serving and bartending came up frequently through Cassidy's questions, whether this is a side hustle, since it often requires more commitment. It's not really on your own time, but you can make a lot of money with tips, and the shifts are usually shorter, she says. Okay, but here's the other thing about that I think is being overlooked with this point. You can become a mobile bartender and operate your own business as a mobile bartender. I actually been seeing that a lot on TikTok as well, where there is a literal system where where you could actually get your own clients, either go dry hire and just show up to do bartending, or you could bring your own liquor, sell packages that way, and you can make a lot in a day, and that is sick in my opinion. And that's when you do it on your own time. Plasma donation was another suggestion. If you're okay with needles, you can donate a couple of times a week and earn up to $500 to $800 a month, she warns. I always wanted to try doing that because I wanted to make a video about it, but I can't imagine doing it right now. Cleaning jobs such as cleaning Airbnbs or offices were mentioned by many viewers, with some even going door to door to find clients. My cleaning lady has been in business for herself for many years, actually, and she has like 80 something clients that she works with. You can absolutely make a lot of money in that. The problem is that you gotta find the right people. Not a whole lot of ways to scale it. I'm also surprised that we didn't just mention Airbnbs in general, but okay. Safety concerns with rideshare jobs. Driving for Uber or Lyft also came up, but Cassidy expressed concerns about the safety of these gigs for women. I'm not sure if this is the safest side hustle. I saw it a lot in the comments about it. Some recommendations were to drive early in the morning and make sure someone knows your location. Lyft now has a feature where female drivers can choose to only pick up female passengers, she notes. And then you'll run into the concerns of if a female customer in-app and a male customer shows up. Honestly, if you have concerns about delivery driving as a safety concern, it's going to be worse with rideshare, because you're not just worrying about the safety of yourself upon drop-off and pickup. You are worried about the safety of yourself throughout the entire car ride. Reselling clothes through platforms like Poshmark, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Depop was also highly recommended. This would probably be the easiest side hustle to start because you could just go through your closet and start posting, Cassidy says. And then all the money your husband spent on clothes would end up being profit for you because you ended up making the money. Many viewers also suggested front desk jobs at Pilates studios, gyms, or skincare clinics. The bonus is you usually get a free membership or discount, she explains. Finally, some viewers mentioned brand ambassador roles, which Cassidy wasn't familiar with but expressed interest in exploring further. Okay, front desk job is exactly what it sounds like. It's a job. It's not a side hustle. I refuse to allow people to act that way. That should all be one category. You're working a job. Brand ambassador, you gotta be careful, because if you're gonna represent another person's brand, you're also representing your brand, and you don't want to mess with that. Due to the response to her videos, Cassidy says she plans to create a document with this information for her followers. She also plans to document her experience trying out these hustles and share which ones work. And suddenly, she found a side hustle through finding side hustles, which is the perfect circle when dealing with anybody who's in content creation and side hustles. Wonder how I know that. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this to turn into a list of gigs that you end up going into, and a lot of them are good. There are caveats to some, obviously. Like a part-time job is not really a side hustle. You are still paid for your time, not the work you actually do. Donating plasma is a physical thing, and you gotta be careful with making that extra $500, $800 a month. Delivery driving is really a location-dependent thing, and so is rideshare. You gotta study your market, and you gotta make sure that you're really capitalizing on as many opportunities as possible. And another point about this is that you have to decide what your goal is with these side hustles. Are you really just trying to make extra money and that's really all there is to it? Or are you trying to build something that scales and grows and ends up making more money than your current job to where eventually you could do it full time? Is it an exit strategy because the gig economy is an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal and not the goal? Or is it something to just pass the time? There's no real wrong answer except no answer. Because once you define what that is, you can start to make choices accordingly. Whether you're a guy, girl, or that technical rainbow in between. But either way, join the Discord server. We mentioned it earlier. Hopefully we can help you find your best opportunities there, and we can help you make the most amount of money in the least amount of time and in the safest possible way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.